Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome to Saeed TV and welcome to a preview for tomorrow's game. Yes, it is a late preview, but with everything going on in this world, and I don't know which day it is nowadays. You know what I mean? Is it the first? Is it the second? I don't know what, if it's Sunday or Saturday. It's all crazy in the world. But big up to everybody who's tuning right now. Happy New Year to everybody that's watching right now. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching. Subscribe if you're new. Charlie first, how are you, mate? Happy New Year.
No, Happy New Year to everybody. All good. Bit tired from all the celebrations, but yeah, doing well, mate. Thank you.
Absolutely. Big up Statman back. Let's go. Statman, what are you saying, bro? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad, man. I don't know why you came at me today on Twitter about Mendy, you know what I mean?
Listen, had to be done.
I don't know which fencer you want. Are you on De Gea's camp or Mendy? You need to make it clear, man.
Mendy.
I'm just on any camp that gives praise when a player does well, innit? Not you and your silly agenda against Edouard Mendy.
Nah, listen, I don't have a silly agenda. I just think he's prone to a lot of mistakes, which De Gea doesn't. And that's just my own opinion. Adam, how are you, mate? Everything all good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to you as well. Adil, how are you, mate? Everything okay?
I'm doing great. Everything's great. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm glad to be on the show. Hopefully, it'll be a good year for United.
Let's hope, man. Let's hope. Big up to everybody. Matt M has put super chatting already. Big up to you. He goes, the title race in all the top 5 leagues is done and dusted, and it's only January. The Super League is needed now. Wow. Listen, I think Super League has its own complications of, there would be no competition at all. I just think we have the best manager in the world in Pep Guardiola, who is just a machine, and that's all it is, man. We have to sometimes, praise greatness, and that's all it is. But listen, that's for a whole new conversation. But big up to you, Matt M, for the super chat. Charlie, big game tomorrow, Wolves. Can we start off the new year with a bang, or is it as complicated as you think? How are you feeling tomorrow?
Well, look, Wolves is always a tough game. I think we all know this. I've just looked. I did a bit of research. I thought I'd just have a little look before the show. The last game that there was more than one goal in a match in the Premier League involving Wolves was the 6th of November. So for nearly 2 months, I think there's a run of 7-8 games where it's either been 1-0 or 0-0. In the last 6, it's going to be a very tough game tomorrow. I think they only lost 1-0 to Chelsea, to Man City and Liverpool. I think they got a bit unlucky at City, if you remember, with the handball with Moutinho, which wasn't a handball. They've got very unlucky. They're a very, very good side. It's going to be a very, very tough game, and I think we all remember the last game of the season last season under Ollie when we won 2-1 at Wolves. That was our best performance in the at the end of the season, and there's no surprise if you look at the team we put out with Matic and Van der Beek in midfield, with Ahmad, Mata, Elanga, and Dan James as the front four, and that was actually our best performance in the last few games. So I'd say before that we struggled in virtually every game against Wolves, but that last game of the season last season when we played against Wolves, we actually controlled quite a lot of the game. We didn't have a great deal of possession, but the possession we had, we controlled, and off the ball we were in control of quite a lot of the game. So I think if we want to control the game tomorrow, I think Matic is going to be needed again for me to keep Matic in the team. And I think Van der Beek, I hope to see him, but we just don't know at the moment. Obviously, it doesn't look like Rangnick fancies him at the moment.
Statman, what are you saying tomorrow? Difficult game tomorrow?
I'll be honest, I'm not confident. I don't think our performances, even though we beat Burnley the other day, were great. Wolves, I think only Man City have conceded less goals than them in the Premier League so far this season. And we know when we come up against teams that sit back, we normally struggle in it. And at the same time, Wolves the other way, they have Adama Traore. As much as we want to laugh about Adama Traore, him on the transition, especially knowing United, we give the ball away very, very cheaply with the likes of Bruno, Rashford, Ronaldo at times, isn't it? So it's going to be a very, very difficult game, especially knowing I still think people like Bruno and Rashford will play in it. We will give the ball away. It's just about Wolves is finding the ball, which we need to hope is not on. It's been poor like it has been in the last couple of games, or actually this season as a whole.
Adam, How do you measure this game of the importance in terms of Wolves, who are very, very kind of very technical team? You know, they like to keep the ball. You know, defensively they're very, very solid as well. How do you think Man United will cope with this challenge
I think
tomorrow?
it's going to be a very difficult game. I agree with Statman and Charlie, and we need to get control. So I do also believe he would probably pick one of Rashford or Bruno back, or maybe both into the team. And I wouldn't agree with that decision unless he has a very specific plan and a very specific thing that he wants to do and play against. But as Charlie and Statman said, I think it's going to be a very we always struggle against Wolves first, and they don't score many goals, but they play very well. Like even when we played them at the start of the season, like they just couldn't finish. They can't score goals, but they are actually very good at creating chances. And at the moment, we do not create many chances. We have like big liabilities at the back, so we can't afford to ship 2 goals. We really can't afford it because they are actually quite tough to break, as we've seen. And as Charlie said, I wasn't aware of that stat of the last few games they played, never conceding more than 1 goal. So, and we need to win. We're not in a situation where we can really allow. We're not in a tighter race. It's not tight at the top where you can say, you know what, a draw maybe because City drew or Liverpool drew. We are not in that situation. We need to rack up as many points as we can. And I think it's going to be a very, very hard game.
Adil, tactically, how do you think we'll set up tomorrow? You know what I mean? Obviously, we will probably play the 4-3-2, but in terms of styles, do you think that will be good against a low compact team? Especially if you look at the way we play City, we're gonna have to need Sancho and Greenwood to be in them kind of 10 rows, maybe good drifting out wide as well. But obviously, technically, this is going to be a very, very good game. And I think as well, possession-wise, we let Burnley, let's be honest, dictate most of the game. They're very comfortable in possession. Is that a worry for you, Adil? Technically, we're not there yet.
Yes, of course, it's a worry for me. And I think we are way too early into Ralph Rangnick's reign to feel confident playing against teams like Wolves. And looking at the stats that Charlie just mentioned about not conceding so little goals, that's worrying because they're going to be a very, very hard block to crack. And at the moment, as we see the last performances, I'd actually say all our performances with Ralph since he's joined, we haven't been able to create chances the way we would have liked against teams that usually are not great defensively. I think the game against Newcastle and Norwich were the best examples. And of course, I'm going to be very, very worried. And the thing is, I think against Newcastle, the main reason why we were able, not Newcastle, sorry, against Burnley, the main reason why we were able to score 3 goals was because we created just a bit more chances and we kept the ball a bit better due to the fact that I believe Sancho was there. I believe to the fact that Matic was there, guys who usually are better on the ball. And I feel due to the fact that we have so many games, Rangnick will again try and rotate. And the fact that Bruno didn't play, that Rashford didn't play last game, there's no way for me that they're not going to be playing tomorrow. And I don't think that these players are what we should be trying to line up against Wolves if we're trying to create chances, honestly.
Do you agree with that, Charlie? What Adil's saying there?
Yeah, I think, look, Wolves are doing pretty well. They, as I said, for 7 games, they haven't conceded more than 1 goal. They haven't scored more than 1 goal. It's going to be tight. That's what we expect if we go on past results. So therefore, we're going to need to be very patient. If we start doing this, I can't stand it. This long ball, this hit. If we start playing these 50, 60-yard passes, it's not going to work. We need to have sustained pressure in the final third, and we keep giving the ball away too easy. We don't play the extra pass. We don't try and get in behind, sort of in the little pocket out wide. We don't try and get overlaps. We just try and play that 50-yard ball, that long ball straight, a vertical pass, and it just doesn't work. So I think if we want to get any success, I think that Diogo Dalot has got to come back in the team for me. I know Wan-Bissaka is can maybe stop Traore one-on-one, etc. But I think you've got to play your best footballers, to be honest with you. And I think Diogo Dalot, I'd have Luke Shaw at left back. I think he offers us a lot more going forward in terms of progressive, sort of he's carrying the ball. And I think we need Dalot at right back, and that'll give us a real threat on both flanks. I quite like Telles, but I think that he's a bit restricted in the way he plays. I think his deep crosses are very, very good, but he can't beat a man. You know, he can't really beat a man, Telles. And I think Shaw, I prefer Luke Shaw, the attributes he brings anyway. I think he's better. I just think his weight of pass, I think he can get out of tight spaces a lot better. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. That's why I play Van der Beek and Sancho as the 2 10s. I'd play Matic and I play McTominay or Fred. It's this conversation we've been having for months, isn't it? McTominay and Fred. But I think Matic is by far our best sort of midfield player to play in that role. So I'd play Matic again, and then the front two. If Cavani's fully fit, I'd obviously play Cavani and Ronaldo. But Cavani obviously has only played 1 game since his injury, so we'll have to see. But it's going to be a tough game. We're going to need to be patient. We're going to have to work them. We're going to have to try and break them down. But look, City needed a penalty. City needed a penalty to beat this Wolves team, and we know how well City are playing. So, you know, it could well be a 0-0 going into the last few minutes. We might need a bit of individual brilliance, as we used to talk about a lot.
Statman, you know, in terms of the actual, when you talk about, does Ralph Rangnick know his first team? Because I think he's almost confuses us, you know, in terms of, you know, the play style of previous managers. You know, does he know his own team? Do you think so?
I'll be honest, I think this early, I don't think he does. We also need to remember, we've had a situation with COVID as well, like backing Ralph. We weren't in the training ground for some days because of COVID. I don't think he knows his full starting 11 just yet. And that's understandable, to be fair. He's still going to be chopping and changing. I think I'll probably judge him in like a month's time. In a month's time, you're probably going to have seen most of these players play. Then you can fully say, you know what, Ralph, he's still changing it a bit too much. He still doesn't know he's starting 11. But for now, I'll be honest, I'm kind of calm with it. As long as we're getting the results, the performances should eventually come in it. Like I've always said this. With Ralph, it was always going to take time because you see, if you're looking at previous managers, none of our previous managers played the same football as Ralph. So expecting change straight away was always going to be silly. Yeah. Let's see what happens in a month's time when he has a bit more time on the training ground with the players, and then we can fully judge. But for now, just get the result against Wolves, which is 3 points. We need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, someone asked there, do you think Everton will change his 4-2-2 formation? Do you think he will do that?
I think he will eventually change it, but he will change it when the team clicks, like when the team is actually comfortable with the playing style, and when changing formation is not about changing the style. Maybe he'll do it at that moment. Like, for example, teams like, we know Jurgen Klopp, for example, he plays the 4-3-3, but we know from the Dortmund times he can play 4-2-3-1, but overall they play the same thing. They counter press, and we will be able to do that with Rangnick in the future. At the moment, you can't change too many things at the moment. You need to give those players something quite stable. Now he's trying the formation, he's trying the players, he's trying to play this one here, this one there, but he needs to at least keep the 4-2-2-2 so they have a base. They don't, because those players, they need to learn everything. Like, they need to change the mentality. Mentality is all wrong. We have a bunch of spoiled players that are not disciplined enough, that are not hardworking enough. Work ethic is very, very poor at the moment. They haven't been coached for a long time, so tactics, everything is new. Everything is too intense for them. They are too complacent, and it's just not a really good vibe at the moment. So he needs to get something stable, and at least he will keep the 4-2-2-2. In my opinion, I believe he would keep it, and I think it's a wise thing to do. And when the team starts playing the way because that's the thing, we know how Ralph Rangnick plays football. So people who are complaining at the moment, I sort of understand it because it's frustrating and the performances haven't been good. But we know how he plays. We know Ralph Rangnick's type of football. So if we don't see it, well, the logical conclusion is they are working towards that. And this is something that I said against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer before. People said, give him 2-3 transfer windows to bring in his players and then judge him when he gets the play he wants. But that is not the way it should go. What is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style? And then you can actually back it with players. You start with the manager that knows actually how he wants to play, and then you bring in the players and you give it time, not the other way around. So, of course, it is frustrating at the moment, but we know what he wants to do. So if we are not seeing it, they are working towards that. And at least that's the way we should approach it, I believe.
Absolutely. Adil, how do you assess the personnel at the minute in terms of, you know, team selections, who should start, who should complement each other tactically, the way we want to play? You know, I don't think Matic can do that. I don't think he was really, you know, I could see his style maybe in the Burnley game. He wasn't really kind of, we could see him clearly visible in that game. It was more McTominay kind of doing that. How do you see that? With the assess the options he has.
Well, to me, again, it will very much depend on the opposition that we are playing. If you look at Chelsea example, to me, their most important midfielder, and I don't think that anyone here would disagree with me, is Jorginho since the start of the season. Today, he didn't play against Liverpool because it was a very, very up and down game. You wanted to have Kante and Kovacic's legs in that game. You wanted to have that dynamic midfield. You wanted to have that up and down game. Against Burnley, and we know how Burnley play. We know that they're going to let up in the 2 banks of 4, very, very rigid style of play. Matic was helpful there. It wasn't going to be an up and down game, and I think that I'm expecting sort of the same type of tactics from Wolves, and I would go with Matic again. I don't think that he's been playing as much as, say, someone like Bruno, where that you would need to rest him, because I think Matic still could play against Wolves. I still think that he has a game in him. And to me, again, when we're talking about personnel, we're looking, Ralph is collecting data on the team. And at the moment, the thing that we are very much lacking in the team is our ability to keep hold of the ball. And I think that we should really, really be able to, like, if you take example, Cristiano Ronaldo's role in the team is to score goals. And he's proven that he will score those goals. So for me, picking a player like Aaron Wan-Bissaka doesn't make sense anymore. This is something that we should be, this is something that should start to become just, a normality. He will just basically, Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing means less crosses for Ronaldo. That's a problem for the team. This is the way I think Ralph will slowly start to collect data. He will start to collect that in order for some players to achieve their their objectives, some other players are going to be important to achieve that. Example, as I said, Cavani and Ronaldo, if they're going to start at the front 2, and they didn't do too bad against Burnley, honestly, it's important that we have fullbacks that are able to provide them. For me, Jadon Sancho is someone that's, if we just take the few games and the few amount of games that we've had with Ralph playing with this 4-2-2 and the split tens, to me, and I don't know if some of you might disagree with me, I think Jadon Sancho has been the best player at that position since Ralph has come, and that's that's some of the data that Ralph is slowly collecting. And I think Statman was bang on about it when he said, it's not going to be a manager bounce like with Oli, because we're actually building towards something, and therefore it's just impossible that we're going to be just as good right away than if you compare it to in a month or 2 months. We're going to be working, we're going to be putting work in. So that's why I believe the assessment of players and all of that will be done through time and through figuring out which player enables which players to perform to their best level, if that makes sense.
I want to ask a question before I restart my MacBook. Cavani or Martial? I'm going to go around to everyone. Who do you want to keep? If you had to keep one, who do you think is more vital to our system? Charlie, I'll start with you. It might cause controversy. I need the comments as well.
He knows what he's doing here.
No, I'm just saying, if you had to keep one, who would you keep? Cavani or Martial?
Well,
to keep in the team, or to
I think
to start to the next game.
I think it means in the squad.
To keep in the whole in the club. I think he's all about.
Okay, all right.
But like, just because of their age, I would keep Martial because of his age. But look, I would keep them both. If I could, I would keep them both. But because of their age, I would keep Martial. But I think they both want to leave, don't they? They both want to leave. So I never say that I never want to keep players at the club that want to leave. I just think it's not good. I think that we don't want players here that they don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? You just don't want it. So, but if I had to keep one, I'd keep Martial because of age. But they're both top players, and yeah, they're both top players. But just because of age, I'll keep Martial.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure about both of them, innit? But I think if I had to choose one, it will probably just have to be Martial just because of age. Let's be honest, Ronaldo's probably gone potentially in the summer or next year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cavani's probably gone probably in January or the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Then what we left with?
Yeah.
Like, I know Martial wants to leave here, but in terms of age, you kind of have to keep Martial. But the thing is that both of them are injury prone as well. Like, we're not choosing between a lot, are we?
Yeah. I agree with you, Statman. And because of age, and there are different profiles as well, I would play them two up front together. It will make more sense to me it makes more sense to ask the question, who would you keep, Ronaldo or Cavani, for example? And then you could say, "Oh, I prefer this from Ronaldo, I prefer this from Cavani, this, that," and you can make a case for each for each of the two players. Martial is 26. Cavani's at the end of his career, and I like Martial, and I think he offers us something that not many of our other forwards can actually provide us with. So I just think he's quality to start with. But so is Cavani. Cavani is quality as well. So I would keep Martial. And another thing, we will eventually need a striker. Like, even if we keep, for example, Martial, we will need someone else to come in as number 9 because, as we said, Cavani and Ronaldo will leave. And if we keep Cavani, well, in 2 years' time, we need a number 9. So at least I'd much rather need a number 9 alone than needing a number 9, a backup number 9, and maybe a left winger if Martial leaves.
Yes, and I agree with all of you guys because I feel as well that like the age factor just makes it easy at the end. But I also believe in variety. Like, we have Cristiano Ronaldo, and I feel like Ronaldo's strengths are also Cavani's strengths, and Ronaldo's weaknesses are also Cavani's weaknesses. Martial brings something different, and I feel like if we're gonna have Cavani and Ronaldo, I get that they're the choices that Ralph played with, the two of them up front. But in the long run, you're gonna need variety. You're gonna need strikers that complement each other, that bring different skill sets to the table. And to me, the real choice would be to think, is it Cavani or Ronaldo? That's when you pick, because if you're gonna bring in Martial in the equation, it's just, I know it's the same position. At the end of the day, they're going to be forwards, especially when we're playing the 4-2-2. But it's two very, very different skill sets. And I feel like with Ronaldo, him and Cavani have the same strengths and weaknesses, more so. And Martial just brings something different to the table. So to answer the question, I'll go to Anthony Martial.
Has everyone said their bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, when you look at it though, I find it surprising though when Rangnick said that the qualities of holding up the ball, Cavani is maybe his sort of player, which I found surprising. I thought he would have said Martial. Is that a surprise to you, Charlie, that he hasn't said Martial is good at holding the ball up? Is that a clear indication of that? You know what? He just doesn't fancy him.
Yeah, it was a bit strange, wasn't it? But we haven't seen Rangnick hasn't even seen Martial. He hasn't even given him a go, has he? You know, so he doesn't really. Obviously, he's probably watched Martial before in his career, but I was a bit surprised because I think Martial. Look, I think we're in huge trouble. I'm sorry to say, I think we're in big trouble with our squad. I think it's hugely unbalanced. I think the front players are far too similar. I think there's many players with the same similar attributes. You know, obviously they're not exactly the same, but I think Greenwood is still very raw. I like Green, but he's still this raw. He needs that sort of direction, and he needs that manager that's really going to get the best out of him and extend his game a little bit. Rashford hasn't progressed his overall game for years, for me personally. And Ronaldo is obviously Ronaldo. He's a world-class poacher. You know, he's fantastic. But Ronaldo and Rashford, Ronaldo and Greenwood and Rashford in this 4-2-2, those front twos are not going to work personally for me. I think Cavani or Martial has to play every game, one or the other in this system, because we've seen in recent games we cannot hold the ball in the final third. We lose the ball way too easily. We've got nobody to make the ball stick. So for me, I was a bit surprised because Martial is fantastic at that. He's fantastic at holding the ball up. He's fantastic at just playing the extra pass. He's just got that intelligence. So yeah, I was very surprised. I don't know.
You know, Statman. You know, when we look at Cavani's game, you know, he didn't really have a lot. You know, in the box, he didn't really have any shots. You know, it was a lot of running around. You know, is that maybe the sacrifices he wants Cavani? Cavani will have that sacrifice of just running around for the team and being that kind of workhorse. You know, is that maybe why he's kind of, you know, thinking that he needs Cavani, because then Ronaldo will be able to do that, and you can't have two that are not going to do any sort of pressing or any sort of, you know, intent with their press.
Potentially, but I don't know, man. Like, even the other day, even though Cavani might have run around a lot, I don't think Cavani was great. I don't even think Ronaldo was great.
Yeah,
I don't think any of our forwards have been good enough over the last couple of games. So that's where it's like with Martial, I think Ralph's kind of said, like, with Martial, he's not going to be here. Martial clearly wants to leave. Let's not play. He's not even in the contention to start. That's where Martial's probably kind of messed up in terms of Martial probably could have waited 2 to 3 weeks before we made that statement of him wanting to leave. Yeah. And then maybe see if he actually had a place in the side. Because he probably could have a place in the side. He could play in the 2-10 rows. He could play up top. But now we would never know, kind of thing.
Do you agree with that one, Adam?
Yeah, I
would
really
never know.
and I also think Marcel was very clear that he wanted to leave, so Ragnick will probably not play him until the transfer window is closed. Like, just sort your transfer out, sort your move, see what's good for the club and for yourself or whatever. And if it happens that Martial doesn't leave at the end of January, then we will see Martial, because he praised. I think he wants to play him. I think he rates him, but I think he needs to make it clear that play. Same with Cavani, for example. Cavani, he said that he wants to leave, but Cavani, I don't think he's trying to force a move out like maybe Martial is. He said, maybe if I go, is it okay? If not, well, I will stay until the end of the season. Like, he's not really pushing to leave. I believe maybe I'm getting. We don't know the facts, so maybe it's all wrong. But I think maybe we'll see Marcel if he doesn't leave at the end of January. Then he will start playing, because the way Ragnick wants to play, you see people complain about the long balls. Usually, what Ragnick wants to play is very direct and very vertical, but not in the air. Like, they want to play those balls on the floor, and you need people who are actually able to make that pass quickly, and people at the other end able of receiving it and controlling it quickly and smoothly. And Marcel fits that profile very well. So I don't know. I don't know how it is. I don't know. And there are many other rumors about Martial, maybe his wife and everything. So I think it's all a bit of a mess in his situation at the moment. So maybe he should not play even if he was staying. So it's a difficult one.
Absolutely. Ada says there probably United won't pay all full of the Martials. Yeah, absolutely. And they shouldn't pay, really. You know what I mean? If the team wants to have him on loan, they should pay his wages. That's what it should be like. But only our club seems to be paying half the wages. Obviously, we made a mistake in Sanchez. I think there was a couple of other players as well. Did we not play half of Dalot's wages?
No, but I feel like with United, we kind of deserve this, because our wage structure as a whole
absolutely,
is crap. So the club are kind of paying the consequences now for that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm going to go around to each and everyone about this Donny situation for a bit. Adil, start with you. How do you see the situation with Donny van der Beek? Do you think the door's closed now? You know what I mean? Because I'm just thinking he said the same things that Ollie said. He will get his chances, which just never bodes well when you hear that. You know what I mean? Even though he could have his chances, but just when you think of Matic playing ahead of him, that's the worry in it for him.
Yeah, to me, the thing that happens is I was really, really, really on Ole's back for not playing Donny van der Beek, because he was the man that signed him. And a lot of people will say, oh, he didn't want him, he wanted someone else, and I don't care. Like, he's the manager that signed off that signing. He's the guy that was in press conferences telling us that Donny was important and this, that, and the other, and he wasn't getting picked. I think we've reached the end of the road for Donny, and Ralph didn't sign him. So a lot of people in the fan base are expecting Donny to be treated by Ralph as if he's this new exciting signing. He's treating him like one player amongst the others, and I don't think necessarily that he fits into Ralph's plan. Like, personally, do I like that? Do I like to hear this? No. Because when I see my team starting Scott McTominay in the midfield and Donny van der Beek is sat on the bench, I'm not happy. I can't be possibly happy about that, because I like Donny van der Beek. But if the manager that we have in charge doesn't rate him and he didn't sign him, I don't think we should be completely surprised. The same way we were talking, Adam, I think Adam made a good point about Martial. People are getting this confused. It's not about not rating him. I think Martial's situation at the club is, with his transfer, the fact he wants to go. As Adam said, there's a lot of things about his wife or girlfriend, the situation that needs to be sorted out. I think that's why Martial has been frozen out. Like, even Elanga has been taking his place on the bench. If it was about not rating him or not wanting him, he'd at least be on the bench ahead of Elanga when we pay him about, I think, 250 grand a week. But I think for Donny van der Beek, we just reached the end of the road. And as much as it's easy to just blame Ralph for not rating him, and I don't want to bring this again back to Ole, because I could go days and days and days just slandering Ole, but I think it's on him. We should have never made that signing, because we've just ruined 2 years of a phenomenal player. Just ruined him. He barely played. He wasn't happy. He hasn't developed. And I think that now we've kind of probably ruined 2 of the best years of his prime, because the manager told him that he was going to play him and he didn't. And I think that that's definitely on us as a football club. We need to take the L on this one.
Charlie, what do you reckon with this Donny van der Beek situation?
Honestly, I'm a bit fed up with it. I'm fed up with it, really. I really am. I think Donny van der Beek, honestly, I really like him. I think he can play in several different positions. I think his best positions are number 10 because he makes those runs in behind. He likes to vacate. If he's playing, for example, if he was playing in number 6, he can play a number 6 role, but it isn't his best position. It only against certain types of opponents. I think that would work. But he can play a number 6 and a number 8 role. But I think Ten Hag's been on record saying number 10 is his best position because he likes to vacate space. He likes to run in behind. And unfortunately, obviously during Ollie's reign, Ollie didn't feel like he could drop Bruno because of obviously the goals and the assists, etc. And he didn't really give him much of a chance in the double pivot next to anybody else. And sort of what really annoyed me was I'll go back to that Wolves game, the last game of the season. Last season, it sort of showed where we were sort of with Ollie and everything, because he played his best midfield against Wolves in a dead rubber game, and then he played McTominay and Pogba in the Europa League final, which was about 3 days later. And don't get me wrong, McTominay was excellent. He was the best player in that Europa League final, but Matic and Van der Beek would have suited that game a lot more against Villarreal. A team that are very, very passive. Matic is progressive passing. Donny would have been able to get a bit more forward because there wasn't that much demand in midfield. Really, we were in control in terms of possession-wise. We could dominate the game, but I felt that Donny was not picked in games that he should have been picked in. I think he's been totally underused. He's definitely training properly. We've heard a lot of good stuff in training. It's not that. He's just been underused, unfortunately. And look, I'm just fed up of it now. I really, really am. The thing that annoys me as well is you've got people who like McTominay, and fair enough, you can have your opinion, but you've got people on Twitter, saying, when McTominay has a good game, well, that's why McTominay is better than Van der Beek. And you get all these idiots that have a player FC, they only support one player, not the whole club as a whole. It just pisses me off, really. I'm fed up of everything. For the benefit of his career, Donny, I just hope if he does leave, he goes and has a good future somewhere else, because he's a quality player.
Top player.
Playing devil's advocate here, do you think everyone's judging Ralph and Donny van der Beek too quickly? It's only been 5 games, I think it is.
Maybe.
5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I think everybody's judging the situation far too quickly because people believe that Rangnick can judge the team based on what we've seen on the Ole. He can't do that. It would be unfair on the players. He needs to judge them on the 5 games he's been here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair on the players, even those who are absolutely shocking. As much as I would like to see Maguire drop, for example, and Rashford drop, he can't judge them on 2.5 years of what we've seen previous to that. It wouldn't make sense, and he would create absolute chaos within the squad, and as I said the last time, a new type of toxicity in the dressing room. So he can't judge the squad on what we know of the players. He needs to come in and go ahead.
No, okay, finish it. Sorry, I interrupted you.
He needs to come in and judge on what he has, because people tend to believe that since Rangnick is replacing Ole, Rangnick was Ole out and he rates Martial and Pogba and Dalot and all of those players. This is not the situation. Rangnick comes in to do a job. He couldn't care less about what happened before, and as Adil said earlier, he needs to collect data on the squad. And maybe he will play Donny, maybe he won't play Donny, going back to Said's question initially. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But as Adil said again, he's not his signing, and he has to treat him just like any other player of the squad, regardless of what happened before. He can't judge on what happened before him. So he comes in and he picks the same team that Carrick played against Arsenal, and this is from where he starts. He can't think like we do, because it just would be ill-advised. It would be ill-advised.
Well, Adam, one of the things, and I think everybody here on the show would agree with me, one of the things that we were most critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about was his favoritism. Surely Ralf Rangnick has his favorites. If he benches the players he doesn't rate and plays his favorites when they play well and they don't play well, we enter a new realm of favoritism at Manchester United, a new era of favoritism, and that would be him dropping to Ole's level and standards, and that would be completely beneath a manager of his experience. And again, he's going to be doing things right, and that will take time, because this is how things are done by experienced professional managers who have a clue what they're doing. Regardless of style of play, whether you rate his tactics or you don't, he's going to do things the way a proper manager is meant to be doing them. And this is why I think Statman hit the nail on the head when he said people are getting overexcited. It's been 5 games. He's barely had training sessions because of the COVID situation. He came in and we had a game midweek prior to his arrival, and we had a game midweek afterwards. So he came in a very, very rushed period. We have a lot of games. It's very hard. It's going to take time.
It is going to take time, and that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? I think tomorrow, when you look at the transition, Adam. Sorry, I'm going to start with Statman first. Transition is Statman. Where do you see the problems that we will face against Liverpool? Sorry, Wolves tomorrow. Is there any problems transitioning?
I said this before. We cannot hold the ball up. We lose the ball too easy most of the time with people like Bruno, Rashford, Ronaldo, Cavani, whoever it is. You can't be losing the ball sillily when you got people like Adama Traore on the other side, who in transition is very, very good. He's a hard player to stop. And that's kind of been Wolves' problem. On transition, they're actually very, very good. But it's just that final ball that they're lacking. And that's why I think they've only scored 13 goals, I think it is. They haven't scored a lot this season. That's Wolves' biggest problem. That's why I'm still kind of scared. Because let's be honest, if Adama Traore finds a pass to Jimenez, for example, then straight away, then they're basically on. They've got a good chance of scoring. We can't let that happen. But I do think, let's be honest, Bruno will probably come back in. I think Rashford will probably come back in. Ronaldo's an interesting one because he's played the last 2 games full 90 in both, which I didn't agree with. And I can't see Ralph resting him either, which means Ronaldo's going to play. And then I'm going to guess Cavani's probably going to play as well because he likes Cavani. We're still going to have the same problems in my eyes unless Ralph changes something, which let's see if he does.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just thinking. I'm just worried about. I'm worried about a lot of things for tomorrow's game. I just think. I can buy into any style, but I think Ranić's style. I think Rashford and Bruno are his sort of players. Honestly, I think Bruno needs to slightly change his game slightly for Ranić. But I think Ranić, he wants obviously the 2 midfield players need to bring a lot of energy. He's talked about energy and physicality a lot, and obviously that's Fred and McTominay in a nutshell, really. And then obviously the 2 number 10s. Sorry, he wants. Obviously, it depends if we're pressing to one side. Obviously, off the ball, we pick up very much a 4-4-2 shape. The 2 number 10s sort of form a 4-4-2, a 4 in midfield. But on the ball, he wants those fast. He wants those number 10s receive the ball from the number 6 and number 8 or the 2, whatever we're playing, and feed the front 2. Can we have that fast pass, or can we have that fast pass out to the left or right back with Dalot and Shaw or whoever's bombing forward? He wants everything done within a few seconds, and that's maybe why he doesn't want Donny in the team, because Donny doesn't suit that energy and physicality role in his eyes. Perhaps this is just a sort of a hypothesis at this point. So he doesn't maybe fancy Donny in the Fred and McTominay role. He maybe doesn't fancy Donny in the number 10 because he wants them a fast direct pass, a vertical pass forward. And Donny, I don't think that Donny's more. He wants to take that extra touch. He always scans when Donny. He always scans his area. Scans what's the best pass. He pass to the right, pass to the left. Should I pass back? Shall we keep the ball? He always scans. Whereas Bruno very often looks straight, and that's maybe why he prefers Bruno and Rashford. But I think if we want to win anything, or if we want to even finish in the top 4, we need to go a little bit less direct in terms of the length of the pass. I think somebody mentioned we're playing these long, sort of higher passes, these sort of floated passes. I think Ranić prefers these vertical passes on the floor, doesn't he? Whether it's to the fullbacks or whether to. So I think Bruno and Rashford. I think he likes those players in terms of, I think they fit his sort of his philosophy, but they need to adapt their gameplay. But I personally don't. Bruno and Rashford don't deserve to play at the moment. I personally won't play them, but I think Ranić will, because I think, as Adam's been saying, he's tried to. At the moment, we don't want to experiment too much with other things, other formations. He's probably stick to this 4-2-2 and just try and get the players that he think their attributes fit his sort of way of playing. And then once we've got the sort of the best 11 as such, then okay, we need to mold them. We need to make sure they understand the specific role. Can we adapt them a little bit? Stop playing this 60-yard pass, etc. So yeah, I think Bruno and Rashford. I agree with everybody else. I think they might come back in tomorrow.
You know what my biggest problem with Rashford right now is? I think he's hella lazy, on the pitch.
100%.
Like, I genuinely
Agree.
think, yeah, he loses the ball. He just stands there at times. Like, this is what I said, yeah, the basics of a winger. Like, safe whatever you want on the ball, just help the fullback out. I don't think he's doing that anymore at
Yeah.
all. Like, I watched West Ham versus Watford. They were 3-1 up here. Jared Bowen's helping at Soufal. Rashford, all I'm asking for, help the fullbacks out. And I don't think he does that right now. And in a game against Wolves, you're going to have to track back. You're going to have to help the fullbacks against people like Adama Traore. He's lazy right now. That's my biggest problem with Rashford.
100%, bro. And you know what? I don't know if you guys watched the Liverpool against Chelsea game earlier today, but those two teams,
Crazy game.
crazy game, and those two teams won the Champions League in recent years and the Premier League in recent years. And you can see Mohamed Salah with scoring as many goals. Everybody runs and everybody makes quick passes and everybody is involved and focused on the game. Everybody, regardless whether they have a star status or not. Like you have everybody runs, everybody make good passes, everybody's looking for a pass, and they only shoot when either the pass is not on, and even though they don't do that, and they only shoot when it's a fair opportunity to shoot. Like they shoot when they know their teammates will not complain about them taking that shot. And this is we have the opposite with Rashford. He doesn't run as much as Statman said. I 100% agree with you here, and he looks for the shot more than he looks for the pass. That's why his passes are actually poor. He doesn't even put heart in the passes. He doesn't even care about making a good pass. He makes that pass when the shot is not on. So you know what? I'll just pass it. And the pass is sloppy. And you can see that across the team in general. Like we lack that discipline very, very badly. That's a very good shout, Statman. Very good shout.
And the thing is, like, if it's Ronaldo doing that, you can kind of say it's Cristiano Ronaldo. What he's done, innit? Lionel Messi, same thing. Neymar, same thing. It's Marcus Rashford.
Exactly.
Like, let's be honest, there's nothing special in football right now as a footballer.
And you know what's up, man?
But the things that the thing is actually we've seen Ronaldo not do it. We've seen Ronaldo get stuck in. We've seen Ronaldo try and track centre backs and try and press. We've seen Ronaldo get angry at players when they misplace simple passes that any professional footballer should land. Like the attitude that, and I've seen some people in the thing that's saying that he's better to be a super sub, to come in off the bench. Like Martial is on 200, not Martial, sorry, Rashford is on 250 grand a week. Like he's not paid that to be a super sub. He's paid that to be a top player in the team, and he's not doing the bare minimum. And that to me should, and the irony is that they call Martial lazy.
Yeah.
This is a problem though, but Ralph will be ruthless in their decision making, and not the one for me you have to look closely is Bruno Fernandes, Adam. That's the one that everyone's looking at. He's been the savior for Oli, but will he be the savior? Does Ralph Rangnick even need him? Because they will all create the same chances now as maybe what happened under Oli. Sancho will then create them chances, and Greenwood as well.
Exactly. The chances and the goals will spread across the whole team. And
that's what Ricky said, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's an important thing. It does exactly as Ricky said, it doesn't matter who scores the goals, as long as you score them. At the end of the day, you need to win the game. So you can't win the game if you don't score. So of course you can't just dismiss stats and goals and assists. Someone needs to get them on board. But at the end of the day, if the team wins, nobody cares who scores the goal. And you need to find the balance that allows you to score as many goals as you can. But you can't have too many players aiming to score and shoot. And so that's why, going back to Rangnick, for example, at the moment, I don't even believe he has a favorite. I don't believe he even rates this player more than this player. I don't even believe that he's in his mind he prefers Rashford and Bruno. So, for example, Donny and Martial. He's just trying them out. And those players, let's not forget, they were fit. They were playing before he came in. So you can't just put in someone who is not match fit at all. And we've seen it with Rafael Varane. He's been injured for time, hasn't been playing for at least, 2 months or something like that. He was very, very rusty and sloppy the last game. And he was not supposed to play that game. So there are certain players, we say like maybe he rates them more, maybe. I don't even think he rates anyone at the moment. Like nobody's doing anything particularly special or good at the moment. And going back to Bruno, as you said, Saeed, he's not playing any different than he has always been playing. Let's be honest. Bruno has always been playing like that. When we are actually poor and frustrated, he starts doing those long balls. We have many, many examples of him just booting the ball all the time. Usually that happens when the team is not playing well. So he's just start forcing opportunities and chances. When the team plays well, he doesn't try them as often. But still, he's just not scoring as much as he was last season because we have someone else taking penalties with Cristiano Ronaldo. and we are not getting penalties anymore because we don't have good players that keep the ball. We don't get penalties since Marcel is not playing.
Fact.
He's-
It's a fact.
we just don't get as many penalties as we used to, and we don't have a captain that will actually go and shout and get into the referee's mind. Like, look, this is a foul. We need the penalty. We don't have any personality in the team. Mourinho is not playing any different than he has always been playing, if we're being honest.
Absolutely. We are going to get into the team today that we'll be playing. We're playing tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff, by the way, people. So anyone that's around the world, maybe it's better for you that it's earlier kickoff space, especially for me. I've had enough of these 8 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah.
I know. I only live around the corner, but it's just when you come out, man, and it's late, man, and you have to get back home, traffic and all that, it becomes of an issue. But David De Gea in goal. Is everyone unanimous on that one?
Yeah, sure.
Yep, sure. Okay, let's put David De Gea in goal.
Is it the team we think he will play or the team we would play?
What do you think? I always say I don't know with this question.
Yeah.
The team that we think is going to play.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to be realistic. So to say like Donny, yeah, exactly. United are always a main event. Absolutely, they know what they're doing, innit? Because if Ralph Rangnick loses this game, it's a big story, man. They love the stories, innit? So
I think we're the Monday in the FA Cup week as well.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, absolutely. 7:55 and then as well. You know what I mean? It's a joke, man. Absolute joke. With this right back situation, are we all done with Wan-Bissaka now, or are we just thinking he's never going to make it at United anymore?
I don't rate him.
Horrible player. A horrible player.
Yeah. He can't play ball.
I'm not done with it. Look, I prefer Dalot, but Wan-Bissaka still has his uses, I think, in our squad. I think if we were to come up against Liverpool, Manchester City, PSG, I still think he would probably play. But we need to get to a situation as a football team where we can trust our right back in any game. And at the moment, we've got one right back who we'd prefer to play one certain game, and maybe one right back that would be prefer to play another game. And that's the problem we're in at the moment. But definitely Dalot for tomorrow for me.
But I might be the only one. I'm just asking the question here, but am I the only one that feels like Dalot is better than Wan-Bissaka defensively? Because I understand that one-on-one defending is an important part of defending, but I don't feel like it's what defending is all about. I feel like Dalot has been very, very good intercepting passes, more than Wan-Bissaka has been. I think he's been more forward-thinking, even in his way of defending. That's why, to me, Dalot is the option for the future.
And even
yeah, go on, Adam.
No, I just said he's even good aerial duels. He wins them quite often. It's quite an underrated aspect of his defending.
Yeah,
I think with the modern day fullbacks, you've got to be better going forward than you are defending, and that's just a reality. Look at Trent today; he's suspect at the back, but going forward is better than anyone in world football. You know what I mean? So maybe you have to have the element of risk, and he has it. You know what I mean? And that's just the way he is, really. Centre backs, obviously, no Bailly, got to African combinations.
I think he's still might be in the squad.
Yeah, I think he's going to play.
Yeah, I think he might be.
Oh, is it?
Right, yeah.
Oh no. So yeah, it might be. Yeah. So because Lindelof won't be back, and yeah, okay. Does Maguire get there for you, or will he pick Maguire? What do you think? Is it?
Sadly, he will.
I think he will pick him.
Yeah, I think so.
If he's brave, he goes Varane and Bailly. Come on, man.
I would go with Varane and Bailly every day.
Every day of the week.
Have we seen Varane and Bailly yet?
Nah.
I'm dying to
why
see
am I
it.
picking Bailly?
I really want to see Varane and Lindelof together.
Yeah, me too.
That's another pair that would make sense.
Not about the surely. No. Yeah, Bailly won't play. But then will he not use him? Or he goes off?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you could use him maybe. But I think maybe that's just because he needs defensive cover on the bench as well at the same time, innit? With Lindelof not there.
Yeah.
Right. This is a tricky one. For me personally, I still would play Telles because I think that was about physicality in that game against Burnley. This one is a technical game. We need a lot of technical players in here. Shaw played well. I thought he was very, very good in that first half. What do you guys do? Charlie, start with you first.
I would definitely play Shaw for me. I actually think Shaw is better technically than Telles. I think Shaw. Look, they're both. I think we're in a situation, honestly, where none of our fullbacks are fantastic. I honestly think that. I don't think any of our fullbacks are fantastic overall. But I think Shaw is. I prefer Shaw's close control. A lot of people are disagreeing, but I prefer Shaw. I think he'll be better in this game.
Diego Dalot is averaging 5.9 progressive passes per 90. Manchester United in the Premier League season, only Pogba 8 averages more. Wow. It just shows you how much we're missing Paul Pogba. You know what I mean? It's crazy stat, but we need that.
Point.
I mean, that's crazy, that, you know. Look at that, the difference between that and Paul Pogba. It's a lot, man. It's a lot there, man. Statman, what are you saying? Tell us or Shaw. A lot of people disrespecting Telles straight away from, you know, especially online. Twitter was like, oh, yeah, I think Shaw's clear, man. I've Telles straight away. And it's like, no, that was because it was a physical game, man. Shaw rises up to them physical games.
I think this is a tough one, isn't it? The problem is, you see with Wolves, you don't know which side Adama Traore is going to play on, innit? Because he can play both, and he's played both this season. But I would still probably favour Luke Shaw just for this game, in my eyes, just because I think.
When are you ever going to get the? When are you ever going to test Telles then? If you keep dropping him out just because his physicality is better, Shaw's better.
When we play better, I suppose.
Say that again.
No, I said when we play better as a team, I suppose you can cover for defensive weaknesses.
Yeah, this is the kind of fine line, isn't it, Adil? You play better, or do you defensively, you know, be more solid?
For me,
it's a fine line where you want to go.
Well, for me, it's about style. Like for me, when I'm comparing Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, it's just that I don't rate Wan-Bissaka. I just don't think he's good, and I prefer Dalot. I'd play Dalot. But with regards to Shaw and Telles, I think in vertical games that are going to go up and down, where we are going to attack and we are going to get attacked, I'd play him. But tomorrow against Wolves, we're going to play against a team we're probably going to have much more. I think we'll have more possession than Wolves, and Wolves is actually not a team that you know hides from the fact that they're very, very rigid in their defending. I prefer Shaw in those type of games because I think he's better to keep possession. I think bringing players into play, especially from midfield, I would play Shaw tomorrow, honestly.
Yeah, cool. Right, we're gonna go with Shaw.
With the Shaw Telles thing, I don't think we're saying drop Telles because he's had one bad game. I think it's just about styles.
Yeah, exactly. That's more about style. And another thing with Shaw, the problem I have with him is it's not the talent or anything. He like last game he was very good, but his place is in danger. So now we see a very good Luke Shaw, and this is a big problem I have with him. Every time his place is like sort of in doubt, we see him go 2 levels up. And I have a problem with that. That means that if we do not provide you with competition, you get comfortable and you do the bare minimum and you do not run as much as you should and you could. And that, I have a big problem with that.
I think the other thing is as well, the problem that we've got, why I would favour Shaw is we cannot progress the ball in midfield. We struggle with progression through the midfield. Yeah. And I think that Shaw offers a lot of progression down the left-hand side. I think if you look under
he does season,
you know, when Shaw was playing very, very well, with Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side, that was a key part of our progression. And I think we struggle with Fred and McTominay in midfield. If they play, we really struggle to progress the ball because Fred and McTominay, their progressive passes. If Matic is playing, it's a bit different. But I think with Fred and McTominay, we struggle to progress the ball. I think they play a lot of sideways passes when they could take a risk. And Shaw carries the ball better. So that's why with our midfield, I think Shaw is a better option.
It's a great point, Charlie. It's a great point.
Cool. Right. Midfield. I would say is McTominay a unanimous decision that we put him in there? Is that fair?
I wouldn't.
It's never clear cut for me with McTominay. I can't lie.
I'll be honest here. You see that other game against Burnley? Like I might just be a bit harsh here, but I don't think McTominay was unbelievable. Like, people are gassing me up like it was a 10 out of 10 game here. Like I just thought McTominay against Burnley had eye-catching moments with the shots. Yeah, I don't think on the ball he was brilliant. I thought against West Ham when he played them away, he was a lot better on the ball.
I think his work
box to box, so he did well though. Box to box role, I think he did well in that role, which I think that's maybe the main attribute of that. The two kind of midfielders in there is that they have to be box to box.
But I agree with Statman, and I think that the point that you're trying to make is Okay, he wasn't as shit as usual, but did he improve the team? Like had he come off? Let's say Fred and Matic started the game. Would we have lost that game?
Not necessarily, exactly.
I think we would have done pretty much the same. I don't think he had that great of a game. Like, I agree, but it was much better than what we're used to.
Exactly. And you know what, as well,
Mm.
since McTominay had a good game, okay, let's suppose he had a good game. Maybe he was all right. I think he was one of the better players that game. It would be very, very naive from us to expect another good game. Like, usually that never happens. Like, it would be like quite silly actually to expect 2 back-to-back good games from McTominay. Maybe he will, but I don't know. And another thing, when Matic plays, we score goals. Like, there is a clear correlation. Like, you can see that, you can look at it. I think when Matic plays, usually we score more goals. And it's not even about the players you put in; it's also about the players you put out. Like, we score more, we win more games when Rashford is not playing, even if he scores in the games. Like, you need to start looking at the bigger picture. So maybe Fred and McTominay, Fred and Matic would be good. Maybe McTominay and Fred would be good. Maybe McTominay and Matic again. But I don't think we can actually be 100% sure of what to expect from those players.
No, I agree. No, with that, I agree with what Adam said about Matic. I think there's a couple of points I want to make about just quick points. I think we all know McTominay is a number 8. Well, in my opinion, anyway, McTominay is a number 8. He's not number 6. He hasn't got the positional sense to play number 6. And McTominay is best when he's allowed freedom to move to the final third of the pitch, as we saw against Burnley, right? The reason why he was allowed to do that because he was playing next to Matic. Matic provides us a lot better, stable, sort of, he's much better in his positioning than Fred is, and he provided that anchor, that freedom for McTominay to go forward. Even though Matic wasn't fantastic, Matic makes a big difference. And another point I'm going to make, our next game after the Wolves game is on the 10th against Aston Villa. So if Matic is fit, I would play Matic again tomorrow, because obviously we know Matic can't play all the time. We know that. But playing for 65 minutes, the next game's on the 10th of January. He's got a week to recover, Nemanja Matic.
Yeah, FA Cup in between, FA Cup in between.
Playing for 65 minutes, control the game, allow McTominay. If we need a bit more energy in there, then you bring your Fred on. But I play McTominay and Matic again. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay, but this game, are we putting McTominay in there?
I personally wouldn't. Honestly, I personally wouldn't, but I think he will play.
I think he will play.
I think it will be Fred and McTominay. Personally.
Yeah, it could, yeah.
I think it will be. I think it will be them too. Okay.
It's going to be a long afternoon.
For me, the number 10 roles, I think...
When is it going to be United?
Yeah, exactly. I think in the number 10 roles, it will be Sancho and Greenwood. I thought they played their roles very well. What do you guys think?
You reckon Bruno's going to be dropped?
Yeah, I think it should be. I think he can't come back into this team for now. Honestly, man, I think. Yeah, Sancho. I don't. Statman. I think you're disagreeing there, but I think they played well as a partnership in the number 10 role. There was a bit of more chemistry in there. We looked a bit more fluid in certain transitional moments. I think for me, I would keep them two in there. You've got to have momentum. You know what I mean? You can't just straight away bring Bruno back in. He's not in the greatest of form.
Yeah. Nah, I hear that. I just think you said, well, Ralph will doing it. I think Ralph will just bring Bruno straight back in.
It's the same thing. I just think he'll play him in midfield. I think he'll play him next to either Fred or McTominay.
Really? Yeah, that could be interesting as well, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what he did the last game, Newcastle, I think. And I just said it in the preview. He would play Donny in the first 2 players in midfield, and it happened at halftime against Newcastle.
Was it a coincidence though, or do you think he thought because the aggression was there, Charlie, that he might keep them two in there, Sancho and Greenwood, or do you just think that he'll bring them both back in?
No, I think he'll play. Look, if we play Bruno and Greenwood, we're in huge trouble.
That's what I mean. You can't do that. I'm sorry. That can't happen.
Forwards. It's 4 forwards again, and it's the balance is all wrong. If he plays Bruno and Sancho, that's slightly better. If it was Sancho and Van der Beek, for me, that would be my 2. But I think he'll play Bruno and Sancho.
Okay, I'm going to say.
I don't want to spoil nobody's evening.
Oh God. Go
But
on.
I'm pretty certain the next four that will start will be Rashford, Bruno, Ronaldo, and Cavani, and it's going to be
Oh
a dead
my
game.
god.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
I agree with that though. I can't lie. I
Yeah,
think that will
I can see
happen.
that happening.
So you see that happening. So we might as well go with that four then. If you see it happening. Oh gosh. Right. It's a sticky period, man. And I think for me, it's not the right way. You know, when I look at so I'm guessing Bruno would be on the right, Sancho on the left, Ronaldo.
No, it'd be Rashford on the left, isn't it?
Because I also feel like
Oh.
this is
Oh my
one of the
God, yeah.
first games that
Yeah.
it's a real test. Like when you look at the teams we've played, you'd expect us to get a result. Like I'm not saying that they're bad teams because they've really given us some very, very good games, but you would expect us to get a result. This is the first one where you think we have to go out there and just have a team that might like nick
Oh,
that one
Anas,
goal.
man. Come on, Anas. Anas, chill out, man. Anas, come on, man. Relax, relax. This is what happens, man. We're broken. We're broken United where we're heads are hot, man. It's
Yeah,
not under
exactly.
surveillance. This is what he's been dealt with. A lot of players, but I get what you mean, though. You have to then question his team selection of, you know what, Ralph, come on, mate. You know, I mean, you have to pick players who are helping your system, not just players based on their name. But then, is he thinking about his other role that he has in the director role? Has he? Will he? You know, is he thinking that maybe I can't get a
Yeah.
bad camp here or people that go against him? You know, I don't want him to please everyone, but is there a case there that he wants to please people?
I don't believe so. It doesn't sound like him. Like he's the
No.
kind of man that strikes me like he would walk if he had any restrictions like that. Like he refused the job if they wouldn't give him like a consultancy role with the power on decision. So he wouldn't get told what to play and how to play. And then another thing, he's actually coaching. Like he's trying stuff. Like he's trying to find the balance. He's trying to find who works well where. He's trying to do something. It's not like, okay, let's play, for example, Rashford, Martial, and Lingard and go and express yourself. Like we know what happened the last 2 weeks right now. And it didn't turn out very, very well, did it? So at least now he's
Yeah.
trying. Like, see, he's trying to do stuff, trying this, trying that, trying to find that balance because it's a new squad for him.
Yeah, listen, he has to drop certain players. I think for me, the Bruno one and Rashford, I think they don't deserve to be the team. But we have picked the team based on what Ralph Rangnick will pick, which again is worrying that he will bring back in Bruno and Rashford, who are not in form. And I think for me, Greenwood and Sancho deserve their places. They played well, especially the aggression and the transition moment. Is that the worry for you, Adam? That certain players are going to be picked based on their names and what they could give and their stats, maybe per se.
Yeah, and I agree. Bruno and Rashford behind Cavani and Ronaldo, that's a scary sight. Like, it's going to be a very, very long game.
Especially,
But I
especially
think
ball possession as well.
Exactly. And I really honestly believe Sancho cannot be dropped. Like, he's the one player that needs to play. Of all those players, he is the one that actually creates, is good with the ball, he's just a good player. He's just a good player.
Like other than Martial and Pogba, and since they haven't been playing much lately, Jadon is one of the only players when he gets the ball and he starts running at the opposition, I genuinely feel excited. Like I sort of expect him to produce something, like either a nice pass or some trickery. Like for me, he needs to play. At least if he plays, it can't be worse than Bruno and Rashford in that position.
If we were to have ours, it would be obviously this is Ralph Rangnick's supposed team tomorrow. But if it was for us, I think we would definitely have Sancho and Greenwood possibly in them 10 rows. Cavani, Ronaldo maybe in up front. That would be the possibility. They're not on his wavelength yet. Maybe Sancho is a must. Absolutely. J-Lai doesn't like Dalot. He says Dalot with a ghost.
It's probably our most threatening player at the moment, Dalot.
Yeah, and if we're gonna have Ronaldo in that team, you need to have Dalot because the only player that can play in Dalot's position is Wan-Bissaka. It's not as if we had a right back that could cross, like other than him. Like, let's not forget that it's not just about your opinion on Dalot, it's who is gonna play if he doesn't. Like, it's scary that we can have Cristiano Ronaldo in the box and Wan-Bissaka is the guy that we're expecting to deliver a ball in the box for him. That's crazy for me.
Absolutely. This is the squad tomorrow. De Gea, Henderson, Heaton, Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Jones, Shaw, Telles, Matic, Fred, McTominay, Lingard, Van der Beek, Fernandes, Sancho, Ilanga, Cavani, Rashford, Greenwood, Ronaldo. So no Martial still in the squad. Just makes you believe that he is on his way out, people. Martial is on his way out. Pogba, I don't know, man. I don't know when he's back.
We need him back as soon as possible. Like we need to sort out first two midfielders.
Where would he play, Pogba, if he was to come back here?
Either in the split tens or the base of the midfield. And since we have like other players that can play in the number 10 position, Sancho, Bruno, Donny van de Beek, and Greenwood, at least there's not a single thing that McTominay can do that Pogba can't. Like not one. He's not quicker, he's not bigger, he's not stronger, he's not better at passing, dribbling, shoot. There's not a single attribute that McTominay beats Pogba on. So if we press, you don't even have the same necessity for defensive duty. And McTominay is not even great at defending. So just, you would take McTominay's spot in a heartbeat. For me as well.
I'd have him in a split 10.
Okay. Cool.
Me too, yeah.
Right, we're going to go with the predictions. I'm going to go with 2-1. Charlie, go with you. Get your predictions on in the comments. You said we haven't scored more than one goal. Have you said that was a stat?
Well, yeah, no. In the last 7 games that Wolves have played in the Premier League, right, it's either finished 1-0 win, 1-0 loss, or 0-0.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Man United win, and I'm going to go for a who's going to score? I'm going to go for a Luke Shaw goal. I don't know why. Just Luke Shaw goal. That's what I'm going to go for.
Statman, you know what I mean? The comments are here. 1-1 from Manus, 3-2 from Joe. What are you going for?
I think it's going to be 0-0, but I'm just going to say 1-0 United.
Oh, don't, man. Come on, man.
And I'll be honest, I think tomorrow's game is going to be shocking.
I know it is. I have a feeling, but that's why, you know what I mean? I just can't do it, man. I can't do a 0-0. It's got a 0-0 written all over it. That's because our transitions right now are not that quick, Adam Addy. It is very, very slow, and you can almost get back in your space. You know your base like Wolves do. You know how City they do side to side, but they do it quick, and Wolves still manage to stick the game 1-0. So imagine what we're gonna do. I don't think we're gonna do them balls in between the lines and all this, and you know. So yeah, what do you think tomorrow? What's your overall prediction?
Man, it's depressing, but I think it has a 0-0 all over it. But I'm going to go 1-0 United, just because we need it. Like it's not based on any logical reasoning. Like we just need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone say 1-0 with that lineup. Listen, it's not going to be that lineup. Hopefully, let's hope.
Exactly.
Adil, what are you going for?
I followed Charlie on Twitter, and I've seen him nail some score predictions this season. So I'm going to follow with his 1-0 prediction, and I think McTominay will score the winner, just because. I mean, that should give you how I feel this game is going to pan out. This should give you an idea. Like I think it's going to be this dead, scrappy game, and I think McTominay is going to score a goal off a deflected shot.
Wow. If you were to pick one player to watch out for tomorrow, who would it be? Mine is it's going to be the left back, Aït-Nouri. I think he's a quality left back. Charlie, you?
Well, if we play that midfield, we'll see. Ruben Neves will play a big part, I think.
Statman, one player to watch out for.
Connor, that's a tough one, you know. I just think it'll be Adama. No matter what side he's on, I just feel like whenever he gets the ball, he just causes fear. Even though you know his end product's not the best.
Cool. Adam, one player to watch out for.
I'll probably agree with Charlie and say Ruben Neves, just because I think we should have bought him. I rate him, and we need a proper player in midfield that plays in midfield. And when we play against the players like Neves and other good proper midfielders, I only see them because we lack that so badly. So I'm going to go with Neves. But I agree, Adama Traoré is going to be a problem. I think Trincao, if he plays like the last time, he had Maguire on toast. So it's a sticky one, I think. But I'm going to go with Neves.
Yeah, Adil, last one.
I'm going to go with Adama, because for the simple reason that we know under Ralph we have very, very high attacking fullbacks, and that makes it just so easy to isolate Adama on one of the two center backs. And I think he'll have Maguire on toast. I just think that he's the fastest player in the league. He's going to be matched with one of the slowest players in the league. That's the kind of stuff that scares me. And we know they have midfielders that can play that long ball. I feel he's going to wreak havoc.
Absolutely. Joey saying that we're negative. This isn't realism. Lol. Ollie has conditioned y'all. Listen, for once I can agree with you. You know, you're right. He has conditioned us all, but
That's a
it's the
straight
mess
kill
that
for
he's left
PSG.
behind.
Oh,
So,
we
yeah,
won't
exactly.
get wins.
Yeah, exactly. But big up to your opinion, Joey Don. Big up to everybody who's watched the preview. Sorry about the lag and everything. Listen, it's all mad around here, man. You got me New Year, same old problems, but we move. Hopefully, we can have a better 2022. Big up everybody who's here. Charlie, give yourself a shout out where I can find you.
Yeah, on Twitter, Threadman Chazza. Yeah, you'll see some tweets and stuff there. So yeah, follow if you like.
Yep, Statman Baines. Let them know next week you're back.
Statman Baines, Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, there you go, man. Statman Baines in the building. Obviously, Adam, how are you? Let me know where you can find you.
Yeah, on Twitter at AdamManRed. So that's the only platform on which I'm active, actually. So on Twitter, yeah.
Absolutely. And Adel as well. Let them know where you
The
can
Red
find you.
Knight on Twitter. And thanks again, Said, for having us. I think I really enjoyed this show.
Very
Yeah,
much so.
absolutely. You can find us all 5 for every preview. Big up to everybody who's tuning in, who's watching in. Please leave a like on the video if you can. And we'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.